Hey friends, we are in Christmas mode at the house of Jen, and I have a really fun tutorial to show you today. So we are doing an outdoor wreath. I found this gorgeous wreath on off-season. Oh my goodness, where was it? I don't know. Was it Walmart? I go to all these places. But here's the thing. This is kind of this rubbery kind of outdoor fur, and it feels really, really good. So it doesn't have that cheap feel. It feels like weatherproof, but it's a great form, and it has my base. And so it's exactly what I want for my outdoor wreath. And I found, okay, it's kind of a mess, but I have this little wreath ensemble kit from Michael's, and it was off-season clearance as well. And so I love these little picks because you can use them for so many different things. Let's say you were like gift wrapping, or this is actually a wreath ensemble kit, and it comes with this wreath. But look at this wreath that's in there. Oh my goodness, the wreath is just not good quality at all. So we're going to use our good quality wreath and then use the picks for this as well, and then really customize it and make it our own. So the first thing that I want to do is take several layers of ribbon, and I want to create my bow first. You can, when you're doing a wreath, you can do your bow on top, you can do your bow on the side, or you can do your bow on the bottom. For this particular wreath that I am making, I want to do my bow on the bottom. So, oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you guys, like and subscribe if you haven't already. I did a Christmas tree tutorial for a GLAM Christmas tree, and I will link that below with some other fun tutorial ideas. Have y'all started decorating for Christmas yet? Some people are like, not until after Thanksgiving. Others are like November 1st, others December 1st. And then sometimes your schedule actually dictates when you decorate for Christmas. So I understand all you busy moms out there. You have my love and my respect. Okay, so we're going to start with this gorgeous gold ribbon. And I used it for my GLAM tree. It's a 5-inch ribbon. Is that not like so fun? But I want to kind of make this as my base here, okay? And so I'm going to, I have some wire, floral wire right here. And I think I want to cut that first before I do my loops. So we're just going to take some of this floral wire, and I'm going to cut it with my scissors. Have a pair of good scissors. Don't use like your worst scissors. I always seem to grab bad scissors when I'm working on something. Why is that? Okay, so first I want to take my loop. I'm wanting to add a lot of like flourish stuff on the sides. So I don't want to like make the bow so big that it just kind of like engulfs it. So you really want to kind of know the scale of the wreath first. But I think what I'm wanting to do is I want to take 2 of these little gold loops like so. And then I want to add some other layered up ribbon first. But that's going to be my first step, is just to do that. And then always leave like a longer tail instead of a smaller tail, because you can't go back and make it, you can always cut more, but then if you make it too short, it's kind of like, I don't know, do you ever see these men that have the ties, and the ties are like way too short? And they like, you have the belt and the shirt and the tie, and I don't know, it's just my pet peeve. It's sort of, you're like, you need more material. So kind of same with your bow. So anyway, we are just going to do it the quick way. I know there's all you bow makers over here that are watching my channel, and you are just cringing because you're like, you don't measure. You're right, I don't. Other people, I don't know, which side are you? Are you the one that measures your bows? I am more of an impromptu, let's do it on the fly. A lot of my videos that we do are just do stuff on the fly together. Okay, so we are just twisting that together. So now I have my base. All right. And we can clean up the tails later, but I'm just trying to get a vision for this. And then check your ribbon stash. I found this from years ago, but you want kind of a wiry ribbon. And then you want another layered ribbons look really, really good. And I love this little Merry Christmas ribbon. And so I'm going to like actually layer these two together. I feel like they look really, really nice, but I like our big base here. I think that looks really, really good. So we're just going to unroll these together and kind of match up our tails. Let's see. Make sure these kind of come together when you're unrolling. All right. Unroll, unroll. It would be pretty to do red. I did not have any red ribbon on hand. So we're going to make do with what we have here. All right. So I'm just going to take a loop like so, and I'm going to do another loop together. And I'm just bunching it, holding it in one hand while I am unrolling with the other hand. Okay, so I like that, but I'm wondering, I think we need to do one more loop together to make it a little fuller. And so that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take another loop here and with my hands, we're going to loop here, and I'm going to take this, and then we can always spread this out to make it look fuller, but I'm just getting my base here. Okay, I think that looks good. I have this cluster in my hands, and I'm going to take my, oh, y'all, I didn't do my wire. This would have made it a lot easier if I would have done my wire before, but oh well, I have it now. Okay, you want to cut somewhat of a generous amount because when you have this much material in your hands, you don't want to have a skimpy amount. So I'm just taking it and I'm twisting it. Once you twist it around a couple of times, it's like those twist ties that you find with your garbage bags. Remember those old school garbage bags? I mean, I'm sure you probably get your hefty ones with your, or whichever ones you get. But I grew up with twist ties and we used them for everything. Okay, so I have this on the back. All right, and now, oh y'all, this one, the loop was too big. So that's okay. The wire, I can still kind of undo it until the loops are precise. I guess that's why they make these little bow maker wooden peg things so that you can get them exactly right. But I feel like that's pretty good. Okay, so let's reposition that. Again, I'm hoping we are just doing this together, all things creative. The fun thing about creativity, I sort of like to have a plan, but in a way, like I like to do things along with you. And I just like, I'm kind of an impromptu person that way. Okay, that looks better. Now I'm going to twist. Okay, I think we got it. Make sure it's really, really tight on the back. That part is kind of important. And then twist it several times. And then come back around. Okay, now we're just going to put this on top of the other. All right, and then I'm going to fluff and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, and that bow took us like not long to create at all. So don't be intimidated. All you need, if you get 3 types of ribbon, you are always going to have a really full look. So look how we use the 5-inch ribbon here. And then this other ribbon that was 2.5 inch, I think. So like 1/2 the size, and then just kind of took one wire. So we wired this one first, and then we wired the other on top, and then we just attached it. And so I feel like that gives us a nice full look. Now we are just going to clean up the tails, because you don't want frayed little tails. Now some people do the points. I am a little bit old school where I still like the V's, okay, because I have wonderful memories of these little V's. I just probably from, you know, being at grandparents' house, from my mom. And so it's whatever you like, but I'm kind of a typical V person. Sometimes I'll do the angle, but I still just think it's so sweet and so timeless to do the little V. I love this Merry Christmas ribbon. You know, I think anytime that you have the words Merry Christmas, it's just, I don't know, it just warms people's hearts. And look, I'm just now noticing this. I don't know why. I guess I knew it before, but there's a wreath on the Merry Christmas. So it really is a fun little wreath ribbon. I have a lot of picks. I can't wait to show you. You know, throughout the years, you probably have a lot of picks too. And it's really fun to just repurpose them, to reuse them. And that's what we're going to do to create a nice full look. Okay, I think that looks so good. So now I am taking this wreath ensemble kit. Again, I had gotten this on clearance. I think it says $34.99, but if you look after clearance, you can get them at a great price. So I like the look of layering different textures, just like I do when I do my flower arranging. So I'm going to take this kind of snowy looking fur, and then I'm going to take a flatter leaf, and we're going to layer that. This is going to be our base. We're going to put that on top of it. And then I'm going to take more of this kind of snowy bay leaf right here, and I'm going to make that a bundle. And then I have this berry, but I only have one of these, the snowy berry. And so we are going to disassemble that as well. And I'm just going to take my little shears here and cut a little piece of that. All right. And I'm going to show you what it looks like together with a little bundle. Take that. Take our little wire. Floral wire is your friend. If you're doing a wreath, you can always hot glue, but you probably want to do both. Anytime you want to, with your creativity, have good structure, and so you don't want your wreath falling apart. You don't want the elements falling apart, especially if you want to keep it throughout the years. And let's say it's an outdoor wreath, especially you don't want, when it rains, you don't want your whole wreath to just fall apart. Okay, so funny story, when I was, long time ago, when I was first married, I made this little wreath, and it was a pumpkin wreath, and it had all these little pumpkins. And my husband and I, we were watching TV one night, and we kept hearing kerplunk, kerplunk, kerplunk. And the hot glue, the little pumpkins just kept falling like acorns off the wreath. It was so sad, y'all. So sad, but good lessons learned. As you craft along the way, you will always have crafting bloopers. Okay, so I have my little bundle here. This isn't perfect. You're not going to see this, but you can see how the wire is all kind of reinforced. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on this side that I do on the other side, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have my little bundles here. I have one on this side and then of the ribbon, and I have one on the other side. Again, we took different textures of these snowy leaves with the berries, and I kind of, instead of fanning out, I wanted it to kind of go upward, kind of at a 45-degree angle. And so that looks really good. I'm happy with that. I want to show you what I want to do throughout the wreath. This was a little bit of a challenge to me because I like these verses, but I want to kind of spruce them up, pun intended, a little bit. Aren't these wonderful and encouraging, these verses from the Word of God? I think these are so cute, these little flat ornaments, and I want to add some ribbon to it. So it has this twine, but I want to add a little red ribbon. I just purchased this ribbon. You can get this ribbon really anywhere at Walmart, Michael's, your local craft store, but I feel like it needs a little color. So what I will probably do and come back is add a little hot glue here. You want to kind of envision it first. And then anybody else obsessed with pine cones? I got these little pine cones. So I'll either do this on top of that, which I think I'm going to do just to be a little extra, or I could kind of alternate. You know, it would be so cute. You could even get your children's names, like all the names of your family engraved. You could do little pictures, but this is a very personalized wreath, and that is what is so fun about custom wreaths. So I'll show you what these look like after I get out my hot glue gun. Okay, so I added these little red ribbons to these little verses, and I think they look really, really sweet. I did think about adding little pine cones to it, but I kind of felt like, even though it's cute, I felt like it could detract from the words. And so at the end of the day, I decided not to do it. But I did find these other like poinsettia, not poinsettia, what do you call these? White frosted peonies, however you want to say it. And I want to add in some more of this texture. You see how we put these on the sides of the bows? And I didn't want to use the same ones, but I want to kind of pop these off and also take this little pip berry, I think you call it pip berry or spray berry, and then just see how these have lots of clusters. And then I can just tear this off or clip it off and take a little cluster, which I think is so sweet, and then just add it to this cluster, kind of get a vision for it, you know, and then add this behind it. And then I just want to kind of layer all of these all throughout the wreath. And I don't know, do you think that overwhelms it? Let's look at it together. So we have these. I don't know if I want to use that or just use that. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to kind of play with it, and I'll show you what I decide. So after playing around with the different options, I decided to use the lacy leaf. I mean, why not? Texture is always so lovely. So make sure you give it a good twist, tie it on there really nice. I do like the look of kind of tucking some of the branches behind it so it's not so out there. Okay, so I have my little bundles, if you will. I actually, remember we just took this from this pick and added the little pip berries, and I only had 3 of this particular leaf. I love how lacy and frilly it is. And then I just wrapped some floral wire around this, and then I reinforced it with glue. So, and then I took these, since I was out of this leaf, and to give it some variation, I think it's like frosted rosemary, which is really sweet. And then we're just going to lay everything out first. So you want it like, you don't want them all like the same direction, right? So you want some to kind of swoop in line, like think of like a clock or something. And so you're going to just swoop it all together. And then with your ornament, you are wanting to find the top. So take your ribbon as a compass and direct it up and find the top center. And then we're just gonna like put these all together, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've added in the little ornaments and our little swag, little pip berry with the little delicate little extra things. Now I also added in 1 extra of these and 1 extra of these little snowy leaves. But you know when you just look at something and you're like, and my husband and I were both like, it still needs something. And so I was like, maybe extra ribbon, maybe extra berries. But then I have to think about like, go in my floral arranging mode and say, what would floral arranging Jenny say it needs? And it needs more texture. It needs more greenery texture. And so I'm going to I have this and I'm just going to disassemble it and then just kind of sprinkle it in throughout to kind of break up this one sagey color and add in a little bit of this like faux rosemary. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, y'all, this is the wreath that never ends because I added these little sprigs and now I'm like, it still needs something. And so I figured it didn't have enough red in it. What do they call it? Red Theory. And I like plaid. And so I think I'm just going to add in this to tie it all together. I'm just going to glue this on and wire it on there. Then I'm going to show you a picture of what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, red plaid for the win. That is exactly what it needed. So there it is. There is the custom wreath. And if you're making wreaths, just know that you will add more layers. Like and subscribe. Thanks, friends.